Hey guys, you're on the Real LLC here, Lake Life and Culture. I've got really cool guests with me today. I've got Brittany, and then I've also got Ericka, and then I've also got Cory with Scorpion. So we've got some cool people here. Brittany's a realtor in our area, made a big impact on our area. So I thought it would be a good idea to have her on the show today. And then Ericka is with roofing.com. You want to tell us a little bit about roofing.com?
Yeah, so what we're doing at roofing.com is we're doing exclusive partnerships. So there is only one contractor per metro area that can be a partner of roofing.com. And you get a whole bunch of training that's included with it: sales management, operational management. And, you can go to the Revolt X retreats. My partner, the partnerships we have with Scorpion and the partnerships that we have with Limitless Roofing Group are there to help our contractors dominate, where they are. And yeah, it's great. And I get to meet hundreds of amazing roofers and roofing companies every day. So I'm in love with it.
So one of the things I like about it, for me, like I've always had this idea of how do I save homeowners from bad roofers? And I'm hoping that roofing.com can do that. And one of the things that's cool about you guys is you have so many relationships with different things like that come along with roofing.com. Like, so I think you guys are part of the membership is you get to do the revolts, right? Like, and so if you're a customer out there, or even if you're a roofer out there, like you're building your leadership capability, which is going to affect the customer that's getting the roof, which is looking on roofing.com for a quality roofer, right? Like, I think it all corresponds and goes together.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely want to get these companies out to a Revolt Extra Trait, because Revolt is really, and Cory can kind of go on that more, but Revolt is really about that self-worth over net worth. To be a better husband, to be a better father, to be, a better businessman. That's what the focus is on. So if we can incorporate that with our partners that we have these relationships with, it will just dominate.
So not only are you offering a place where homeowners can go and find a roofer, but you're also offering so much for the roofer that's on that site, like to just be better, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a really unique situation. Same thing with Scorpion. Every time I meet with you again, you're with quality people. Like you're around that group of people, and that speaks a lot for Scorpion. I also noticed, like Brittany was saying, your hat is upside down. These guys know how to market. I've looked at that hat probably 50 times today. I know that it's upside down, and I know the why, but I can't stop looking at it.
Yeah, it's been a great, partnership. And, the thing with roofing.com is, they vet, who they partner with. So there was a long process with that, with Hunter and all the leadership there. But it's that we also know with this partnership, the contractors that we're potentially going to work with have the same values, have the same core values, and they're looking to better themselves, like she said, as a man, as a husband, a father, as a business owner, and the impact that can have. So it's not just marketing, but it's also growing that, brotherhood, so to speak, and really helping impact the communities.
So I think it's really important to talk about impact on as a father, as a husband, or as a partner, or however you want to put it, or as a family, because I think when you just said that, Reggie Brock, I don't know if you guys know Reggie Brock, he said something that was very interesting. So like if you have an employee, you're only going to get about 20 or 30% out of that employee or that team member if they're having difficulties at home. So I feel like the reach from roofing.com, the reach from Scorpion is so far deep that you're going to bring something much better to the customer, right? Because we're focused on the culture, the family life, everything that we can do to build up that contractor to give a better service to that homeowner. And I think that's kind of a connection that you guys all have. It's the same idea of we're not just selling a product, we're selling something that's going to help other people, right? Like help my family, help the customer's family. Like we're all connected on the same ideas.
Yeah. And we also have, that's coming up in July, a couples retreat that we're doing. And that's going to be Revolt this year. And then our exclusive partners are going to have their separate one next year. But even doing that, I mean, kind of going off what you just said, like, now we get to bring the significant other, the behind the scenes people who are either at home watching the kid or even in the business with you, so I think that's going to be my favorite part, is being surrounded by all of these guys I already know and I have relationships with and I love, but also now meeting the wives or the significant others. And then Hunter's also doing like a father-son retreat where it's like, come on, like I'm definitely sending my husband and my child. So, it's just doing all those different things kind of conclude what you're saying. It's not just about, the owner, and that now we have something for the father and son. We have something for the couples. We have all these different things. And I couldn't imagine being a part of something better than that.
Right. I mean, even going to the spouse, like, so there's so many people, like, even in my life, that work really hard behind the scenes that never get noticed or don't get the appreciation that they deserve, or maybe the time to build up themselves. And so I think it's really cool that you guys are partnered with roofing.com. Roofing.com is going so much further to even have a couples retreat. Let me tell you, if there's something that's needed in roofing, that's one of the things that's needed in roofing. And really benefiting the person, that's encouraging the person that maybe is in the limelight, like, that's out there. And so that is super cool. And I think as a customer that's buying or wanting to go find a roofer, what more do you need to know? Like, if you're going to be able to trust that roofer, if he's probably making those investments behind the scenes so that he can bring you a better experience. I know Bernie sees that all the time. You see people that are working behind the scenes that maybe don't get the credit that they need, or maybe they don't get the leadership ability to grow that. And I think it's cool that roofing.com offers that.
How do you vet your roofers?
So one, they have to be licensed. In Texas, it's a little different because you don't need a license in Texas. So now I'm focusing very strongly on, you also have to be insured. You have to have that certification, or certificate of insurance. And then you have to have over a 4.5 Google rating. And it has to be more than 5 reviews that are on there. And then, we'll also look at Facebook rating. Like, I do a full-on background check before I talk to somebody, to the point where I still want them to tell me about their business. I still want to know the internal side of it, but from what I can see, but that rating is very important. Now, we do understand that me as a roofer also before this, that there are going to be those homeowners that you probably didn't even go to their house and they're just going to put a 1-star review on there. So we take into account certain things, but you have to be very close to that 4.5 rating. You just have to be really qualified, and have all the things, to be able to be a roofing.com partner.
So when they partner with you, what is something that they can expect out of it? I mean, you get to go on a retreat, you have different levels. Like, how does that work?
Yeah. So, I mean, you get to go on the retreats, but the biggest thing is being exclusive. So, you're the only partner. And when we get the organic leads from the website, that's only going to that partner in that area. It's not, like these other companies that it's going to 5 different competitors. It's kind of, a BS lead in a way. We vet the leads beforehand. So, we're not making you run around everywhere like crazy. But then you get all this training. I mean, the training that you take from RoofCon and stuff like that, and that Hunter puts out, along with other amazing industry leaders, you get all of that training. It's about $50,000 worth of training that you're getting included. And then, when you get into the discounts with Scorpion, and when you get into the discounts you're going to save with Limitless, it's kind of a no-brainer at that point. But there's a whole bunch of things just with that are included in the partnership.
So this is really good for the industry. And let me tell you why. Because there's so many huge brands out there that have been advertising for roofers for so long that actually have done a disservice to the roofers. So they're selling a lead to a roofer that maybe you, the customer, has looked into through these large companies that give out leads, and then they're selling it to 100 different roofers. So you might put an application in that you want a roof, and next thing you know, you get no vetted roofers, only roofers that are paying a website. Then you get hundreds of calls from roofers, and most customers don't want that. So now we have a company that's going to go, hey, we're going to vet these guys. We're going to check the reviews. We're going to make sure they're honest. I've filled out your form to be part of the roofing.com, and there's extensive stuff on there asking about the company. They're making sure they're insured. Let me tell you something. The companies that are out there that are offering roofers to you, the homeowner, they're not doing those things. They don't even care about the 4 or 5 star reviews, and they're not even sure if the roofing company's companies even have insurance. I'm in the roofing industry. I can tell you 90% of my competitors in my area don't have the proper workers' comp, the proper liability. All of those things don't exist. That's really what hurts the industry. So now we've got a company going, hey, we're going to vet all that. We're going to protect you, the customer, but in the behind the scenes, we're actually going to build a roofer and make them a better person, make them a better family life. We're going to be support group for them, but we're going to bring you unique roofer in your area that's already been vetted. I mean, how do you feel about that being in the advertising business?
The one thing that I love the most, and we all know this because we've all worked with marketing companies before, and they just care about bringing the leads in.
Right.
Why I wanted our company to partner with roofing.com so much is because there's so many trainings in there. I mean, you've been a roofer, you know how difficult it is building out these training programs for your salespeople, for operational things. I can push my clients to them and me to them to make sure that I'm sending them leads, sending them, people, but that company can actually give them a great customer experience because they've got all the training from being part of roofing.com.
Right. And then if you're a customer, who do you want putting your roof on? You want a guy that says, I don't need training, I already know everything? Or do you want a guy that is part of a partnership that goes, hey, I want to be better. I want to have training. I want to do those. He's going to give you a better quality product. But to on the hindsight of that too, is even with your limitless roofing brand you guys have a partnership with, there's so many qualified people within that brand. Like some of the most qualified people or quality people that I've ever seen in the industry are part of roofing.com, part of Revolt, part of all this stuff that you guys have to offer. And like I said, I see him with all of these quality companies. So every time there's something quality, you're here.
Hey, I like to surround myself with better people.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the partnership that you guys have. Obviously, roofing.com and Scorpion. Somehow, when that comes together, when a roofing company is looking at investing in something like this, it's got to mean more that they have somebody like Scorpion that's a partnership with them. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, so, with Scorpion having the longevity that we've had for over 22 years, we have a great history in the home service industry. And just like he vets his roofers, he vetted us, and talked to some of our clients and really looked at how can the people or, roofers that he brings us, can we scale them? Because that's what most companies get into business for. It's not just to be average. And that's one thing you hear Hunter say is against average. And that's where we want to help take them to that against average. We don't want them to just be a roofing company, a chuck in a truck, and just getting by. We want them to be, there's different levels of customer service. Trademark is the highest level. So we want to make sure that the roofers that we work with and the ones that he's working with are looking to be at that level. Just like, you've done in your area. Other companies are following suit to what you've done. And that's what we wanted to partner with in doing that and finding those roofing companies. I'm very, exclusive who I work with. I do the same vetting with any roofer I'm going to work with. I want to look at their reviews. I want to, look and see what people are saying about them on Facebook because I don't want to work with somebody that just wants to be average.
Right.
So I think that's a really good point. So average and working with quality people, I think on a customer, when they're looking for a roofing company, one of the things the customer doesn't understand is after the roof's installed, right? Who's going to take care of the roof after? And you guys are doing that vetting. You're building that person up so they can be better than maybe average, right? They're above average. But homeowners don't understand that once the roof's installed, they really need a partnership with the roofer for a long time. Like, for instance, in Florida, like most of these roofs are replaced every 15 years. So to me, I'm married to that customer for 15 years. If they have an issue, boom, we're coming. We're going to help you out. There's things that can happen, but it's not just about this one install. It's about a partnership for the customer for the next 15 years. Who's going to take care of you if you're in a storm? Who's going to take care of you if something happens to your roof? Like, it's not just about, hey, I need a roof, I need to get it installed. It's a long-term investment. And I think what's cool about it is you guys are vetting and making sure that customer is getting that first quality person to their home so that they can provide that for them. You guys know roofing. Like, there's so many websites out there if you want to type in and find a roofer, right? They know nothing about roofing and what really matters. When you're talking about roofing.com, they come from roofing, so they understand the long-term effects of roofing, so they understand what it's going to take for you, the homeowner, to be successful and what kind of roofer you need, and they're going to bring that to you so you can find that person easy.
Yeah, and I think the other great thing about roofing.com and, working side by side with Hunter on so many things, is that he's also about the impact that that company can bring. He doesn't want just your average roofing company. He wants one that's really looking to impact the community, impact their families, and do that. So it's even more in depth when it comes to the vetting is, can they impact the community? Are they going to spread the word, kind of like you've been doing about what the impact was on you from RoofCon and talking with roofing.com? Is we want more people like that.
That I was going to ask you this. So obviously you're in marketing. Obviously you have to do a bunch of marketing too. I find that community relationships is what grows a company. So you can do as much marketing as you want, but how do you inspire these roofers to get out there, put their face out there, build a community, build those relationships that goes beyond just branding or SEO or something like that, where you're bringing the community also to you?
I think, I'll go first, is that I think showing them the impact of a company that has done it. I have companies that I work with that when I'm talking to somebody, I was like, this is kind of what you want to mimic in your area. Make it your own, but look at what it's done. Look at, and I always look at how many people like or will comment on a post. You go to some average roofing company and they might have 1 or 2 likes. Mm-hmm. But you want to find those ones that are getting the comments and the long, making comments and just talking about what they've done. That's where I show that to a roofer and it's like, look, you can do all the marketing with me you want, but you want to be the household brand. You want people, when they think of a roof, just like I was telling somebody today, you think about, I want to go buy a blue truck. What do you instantly start seeing everywhere you go?
Mm-hmm. A blue truck.
It's not like they magically appeared. It's because you've branded in your head about the blue truck. Mm-hmm. So you want to do that with your roofing company as well. And that's what about being in a community, going to these events and learning about what they're doing in their community. It's just the community, even within this, mm-hmm. is powerful in teaching them the impact that can have on their business.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we're on the Real LLC podcast right here in our city. That's how this started, is community impact. How can we, connect with the community? So I know for you, you're probably like trying to help these roofers out and you can make a substantial difference, but they need to do some things on their own also, right? Like, I know that's one of the things that we said is like, how can we impact the community? But also, like, you're not only bringing yourself customers, you're bringing yourself people that want to work for you. And anytime you can have somebody that wants to work for you, you can bring both. Like, if you can bring both in at the same time, like if I can market and advertise, most of the time I'm actually advertising for employees. But I'm also going to get a customer, because what I'm saying is, hey, look how great these guys, I'm speaking the truth. I'm showing how great these athletes are that work for me. But 99% of people work for somebody. And if they can see the way that you treat your employees, they're going to want to buy from you. And if they buy from you, it's going to help you, but it's also going to help the employees. So when we market, we're marketing for 2 things, a future customer and a future employee, a team member. And I think it's really cool is with what you guys are setting up with roofing.com, it's the same thing. Like, we're not actually just building a system, or you guys aren't just to connect to a customer. You're actually impacting and building a place for, I want to work for this guy because he's investing in himself. His culture is really good. And I think roofing.com has done a real good job at that. They're actually impacting the roofing company in a much deeper way than finding them a client, enough so that they're changing the environment that their team members work in, which means they're probably going to produce a better quality product for the customer.
Absolutely. And to what the roofing.com, and she mentions the, Revolt X, I don't think that you can say enough about what that has done. I mean, I've gone to several. It's made my relationship better. It's brought me even closer to my daughter, which just got married. But to hear all these people and then we all chat and everything, it's like, hey, I came back from this and I was talking and doing this, and we made date night with my wife, or we're reading a book, every night, and the impact that it's had on their relationship. That roofer is going to be a much better person the next day at work. Mm-hmm. He's going to impact his employees so much better because now he's got a teammate at home, whether it's his kids, his wife, or anything. That impact right there is priceless. And I mean, you get so much with it, with the roofing.com, but the impact of that is, probably the most priceless thing I could ever discuss.
So if you're buying from a roofer on roofing.com, you're really making an investment into your community, because most of the roofers that are going to be on roofing.com are going to be invested in their community. You're really making an investment into a business that wants to change the lives of people that work for them. and then you're really making one for directly to the family. So I don't think you can go wrong with finding a roofer on roofing.com, because on the back end they're doing so much, right? I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's not just a way to find a roofer, it's a way to find a quality roofer that's impacting the community, that's changing their family. Like you said, like now you have date night with your wife. That's only going to translate to a better experience for the team member that works for you, which ultimately is going to impact the person buying, which is the customer, which they can find through roofing.com.
Yeah. And just going off that, I would also say that, you know, my story from what you kind of just said was last year was my first year going to RoofCon. First year. I mean, I've been to a bunch of conferences because I've been in the business for a decent amount of time now. But, I went there and I was like, instantly, I was like, this is different. Like, I looked to my husband and I was just like, this isn't your typical conference. And I was like, and I followed Hunter because I watched him speak. I watched all those amazing guys speak and followed him on social media. And one day he put out, a roofing, who wants to work for roofing.com. That's how I got into all this. So when you talk about you're not only looking for a future client, but a future employee, I really believed on what he said. And now that I'm here, it's not just about believing it. It's actually true. And that's why I always say, everyone will always ask me, I wouldn't want to work. I wouldn't want to work for anyone else. I wouldn't want to have any other team that I have. Like it has, and this is, and they're there for me knowing I have a 3-year-old at home that I still, have to watch and do things, and they're all about it. So it's pretty amazing, with that. But that's just like my story when you were talking about, a future employee, because that's what we're doing. And then going into the roofing companies about community, that's also another thing when I do a call is, one, I'll look at your stuff when I'm vetting you, but we have 3 core values and we stand by those core values, integrity, leadership, and legacy. And you don't necessarily have to have all of those, but we want to make sure we're aligning ourselves with people who have the same mindset. So that's something that we really talk about. When I do my phone calls, I usually take like an hour and a half that I know I'm going to be on these calls, because we really have a conversation. And that's what I'm all about. I don't do the presentation on where I can't see their face. Like, I want to have a conversation because I want to know about you. Like, I want to know about your company. I want to make sure that you're going to be that great fit. Because if you can talk to me with respect and have a conversation with me, I don't even want to know how you're going to do with a homeowner. Like, you're going to kill it with a homeowner, and you're going to make them feel like they're safe and they're in a, good relationship in a sense. So that's kind of more that goes into that as well.
Yeah, I think that feeds into, like, you guys have a brand, whether you know it or not, and your brand is just that integrity, core values. So you have followers, right? Mm-hmm. People that are following that. People that don't have those values aren't going to follow your brand, right? So when I see roofing.com, first advertisement looking for roofers to be a part of it, I would say that most of the people that's seeing your advertising that maybe you're helping with, right, is going to somebody that maybe follows your brand, that's invested and wants quality also. Yeah. So you guys are automatically attracting such a different crowd in an industry that's probably pretty rare. And so then you're going to offer that to a homeowner. It's a unique funnel.
Yeah. I mean, I love this industry. I have a psychology degree. I mean, I have a 4-year college degree, and I probably should have went into my degree, but I'm just like every other person who gets a degree and you're not doing it. But I love this industry because of the people I've met. I mean, do I love shingles? Do I live to know everything about a granule? Like, no, and I don't get on roofs. FYI, I do not get on roofs. But I love the people I've met, whether it's at RoofCon, whether it's us coming to Florida and, meeting out, whatever it is. I mean, I've just met such quality people.
Well, let me ask you something. This is, so we talk about roofers and the customer and the after effects of a roof. And some of the times that's the most important time for a customer is after the roof's installed, like if there's any issues. So my question for you guys is, a customer comes to your site, they get a roofer and they buy from that roofer. Something goes wrong and that roofer doesn't take care of them. How do they respond? Can they respond to you guys and say, hey, we have an issue with this roofer? What is going to be your guys' follow-up if you do have a roofer that doesn't actually deliver?
So they'll always be able to talk to us. partners at roofing.com. And, the homeowner will always have access on the website and everything else. But, we'll do everything in our power if that doesn't work to make it right and see what the issue was. To make sure we talk to our partner, like what's going on, what happened. And if it really just is because, they didn't do what they were supposed to do, that will be done and we will figure it out.
So what's cool about that is you have a bunch, like I said, again, there's a bunch of websites out there. I'm not going to name who they are, that know nothing about roofing. And if you're a customer and you call and have a complaint about a roofer, who's going to know who's right and who's wrong? Except for a roofer that's going to have a really good idea of whether it's the customer or it's the roofer, right? So they're kind of on your side as a customer, and they're also going to be on the side of the roofer because sometimes, for instance, as a roofer, like if there's a flat roof area and we put like say a rubber modified down, we'll get a homeowner that says, hey, they didn't do the roof right. They forgot to put the shingles down. And that is actually the roof. And so they're going to contact them and maybe they send a picture and you're going to verify, no, they actually did the right thing. So you can be somewhat of a middle person. And I think it's really good assurance for the homeowner to know that they're buying from a site that was built off of roofing instead of a site that's just built off of producing leads.
Yeah.
I think this is really cool. So I'm a single mom. So anytime I need to hire somebody or bring somebody into my home, that's really scary for me, right? Like I have men's shoes outside my door just in case, but to have like almost like that middleman to find a roofing company from your site and know that it's vetted, and also that I would have another voice if something were to go wrong or something were to happen. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
To think about it on that side of it. We don't always have exactly what we need. And I don't know anything about roofing. Like, I mean, I grew up in a family that does it, but to have somebody to call and be like, I'm not really sure that this is done right. Can you like go over this with me? That's not the roofing company. That's empowering.
Yeah. And my biggest thing with my partners and who I have is I don't just sign you up and then drop off the face of the earth. I don't send you to anyone. If you're my partner, you're going to have my direct phone number. You're going to text me. You're going to message me on Facebook. And I do know roofing. Now, do I know everything about roofing? No. But I also have people I'm surrounded with who do know roofing. So if you're having an issue with a homeowner, I want you to send me a picture, send me all the information I need, and we're going to figure that out. And I'm going to message you back, or just give me the homeowner's phone number and I'll make it right. Because at the end of the day, this is a partnership. So we're expecting you to do right by the customer, and we need to do our part too. So, it's awesome.
What a great resource. I have, people from all over the country that I know who will call me and ask me real estate advice. And although I can't list your home or help sell your home in another state, I can refer you to an agent that's really good. But the same thing for roofing. Like, obviously, I am in roofing with my family. I may not know a lot about it, but what a great resource to be able to say when people are calling for more information, hey, how do I find a good roofer? Yeah. Perfect.
And another good thing about it is we also have a mastermind, like for our partners. So like Revolt is our major mastermind, but if you're a partner, you're in the group chat, you're in a private group chat. No, none of the spam and stuff goes in it. And even though y'all are competitors in a way, it might not be in the same state, but you're both roofing companies. You can now talk to each other, ask questions. Are you going through this, obstacle? Well, so am I. How did you overcome it? So we're creating a whole nother culture in just that, of doing things and certain things like that. So, I mean, I just think the advantages that you can take from it, like, are just you as a person, you as a company, and then your homeowners, and then either other businesses too. I just think
the whole community.
Yeah, it's like a little community. Well, it's not that little, but somewhat little community.
My number one thing is when I look at this, it's trade specific, right? Like it's for roofing, for people looking for roofing, for roofing contractors. To me, it always comes down to that. Like if you go to the hospital and you have a heart problem, are you going to see a brain surgeon? No. You're going to see a heart surgeon, right? And that's where you guys really come in. You are specific for roofing. And I think it's a win-win for the roofer and a win-win for the customer that's buying.
Yeah. And I mean, the biggest help with that is we have the biggest domain in the roofing industry, roofing.com. A funny story is I was at RE and my husband just happened to walk into the Tesla booth, like the private Tesla booth. And we're talking to them and he's like, oh, like, what's your email? And I went in there because he didn't have an email. And I was like, Ericka at roofing.com. He's like, how did you get that domain? And I was like, don't ask me. I was like, I don't know. Like that's, a question for someone else, but we have the biggest domain. And now our partners are able to leverage that, because it's kind of like buying a franchise. Let's just say Orlando, like you bought that franchise of roofing.com in Orlando. So now you kind of own that part of roofing.com. That's why you're able to use all our social media like that we put out. Anything that has roofing.com on it, that now goes to our partner because you are the partner of roofing.com, the official partner. Anything that you need to do, you're able to do that as the partner. And, I'm certified because I went through all the vetting process. I'm certified through roofing.com, just another thing on top of GAF Master Elite or Owens Corning Platinum Preferred. Well, now you're also, certified in a sense through roofing.com. It's
Well, let me ask you something. So with Scorpion involved, like if I'm a roofer and I'm part of roofing.com, what kind of benefits am I going to get with Scorpion involved? Like, are you guys going to be marketing roofing.com in a way that it's going to benefit me in more ways than one?
No, actually, we'd be marketing you directly because we want everything to come directly to you, build your brand online, building your organic traffic and all of that. So it's just the partnership is more about a promotion, and a discount that we allow partners of theirs to get. And also on something that we hit earlier about the, upset client, homeowner is one thing is when they vet it. And once it's vetted, and let's say that homeowner put a bad review online, we can actually remove it.
Wow.
Wow.
So the benefit of having something to where we have an expert that can actually say, hey, this is just maybe a homeowner we didn't even do work for. Or, it's a disgruntled employee. We actually have a service to where we can remove bad reviews.
That's pretty cool. I find sometimes I've especially watched Usage Roofing respond back to some negative comments. But sometimes I think it's more of a push forward to see how the company handles something that's not so great. That's what I like to look at. Like I like to see somebody who put maybe something that was a negative thing that they found and see how the company responds to it. And that's actually better for me than a 5-star review. Is that something you help them with as well?
Absolutely. Because the biggest thing is we know reviews are so important, especially in the mapping section and the Google guarantee, the LSAs, is teaching them how to respond, and to bad ones and good ones to where you want to make sure, let's say as if it was a roof repair, hey, Jason, really appreciate you, leaving this great review. We strive to be the best roofing repair company in, Eustis, so teaching them how to use keywords, stuff like that, but also making sure that they're responding to good reviews. A lot of people don't ever respond to the good ones. They respond to the bad. Well, you don't think Google wants to see how you respond to everything? So teaching them how to respond to both to where it can help you show up better in mapping sections and happier for Google.
Man, I like that. I just learned something there.
I can go home now.
Man, that's awesome. I know for me, when I look up companies, the first thing I scroll to is the bad review and I see the response. I think I'm the same way because sometimes you don't know. There's so many generic reviews nowadays where you can hire out. I hate that. I know Google's working really hard on that to make sure that doesn't happen. But it is kind of nice to have somebody that's going to stand behind you because if roofing.com can verify it's not a real thing and then you can help me get it removed. I mean, honestly, before I go to bed every night, I think I check my reviews and that'll determine how I wake up the next day. But I'm a roofer that really cares. And I think that's what you guys are promoting. All right, so I got a question for you. One of the things I like about what you guys do is you're vetting the roofer for, I've been involved in that for over an hour and a half, where a customer typically talks to a roofer for 5 minutes initially, maybe 30 minutes at the job site, and sometimes maybe they don't even want to talk to the roofer. I think what's really unique is you're specific in this industry, and actually you can save the homeowner some time, but you're also a roofer vetting a roofer to save a homeowner. Have you ever turned a roofer down for being on your site?
Yeah. So I've turned a couple down. Most of the time I've really talked to great contractors. They're really just great, respectful, kind of with the roofing. I know it gets a bad rep sometimes, but everyone I meet is super respectful. But I have gotten a couple that are trying to say, well, I have a 4.9 review. Well, you also have 3 reviews on your website, or Google. And to be respectful, that's just not part of our vetting process. They'll be like, oh, well, I just started. well, once again, that's not part of, our, and I say it a lot nicer than probably what it sounds like now. But I've turned people down for that. I've turned people down for I can usually tell from a person the first 5 minutes I'm talking to you, how this is going to go, and if they're very kind of arrogant. I've talked to a couple of arrogant people who are just like, I have the best roofing company ever. Red flag. Like, somebody who thinks that they're better. I want people who want to keep getting better, who don't just think they're the best, who don't want to learn anything. So I have turned people down for just being very arrogant, not really caring about what I'm saying, not having that conversation. And then, people who don't want to upload their insurance and licensing. Now, okay, licensing, I can understand if you're in Texas. Insurance, why won't you upload your insurance? So all of those things really go into that. But a lot of my focus when I have these conversations is how the person is, how are you acting towards me, the things that you're saying. I really focus on that. And I've gotten people who are just don't align with what roofing.com is looking for.
So we said that earlier, like I was attracted to your guys' site because I follow the brand.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know it's a quality brand. I know it's about building leadership. So automatically, reason you probably met so many good contractors is because you're following so good. Is because you guys have done such a good job promoting quality and quality people and leaders. But one of the biggest things for a customer is not knowing what kind of insurance a roofer needs, and you're verifying that stuff. You're making sure. You can't become a customer overnight that knows maybe workers' comp, maybe liability, like all of those details. You're in that field. You're going to be able to verify that for the homeowner so they don't have to.
Yeah. And I think it's just awesome because it skips past, a homeowner calling out 10 different roofing companies if a storm comes through, or these roofing companies that come in from the other side of the state, country that they don't know anything about. And I think that's just the perfect medium to find homeowners. Like, stop worrying. You're going to have somebody who's qualified, not only with their manufacturer who they use, but now they're double qualified through roofing.com too. And only one contractor can say that they're qualified through something else.
But you're also verifying their license and all of those things. And the reason that's important if you're a homeowner is one of your vetting processes is from what you had said earlier is like, if you're a brand new roofer, you're probably not going to be on the site, right? Well, a lot of brand new roofers that maybe are just getting into the trade are going to create a screen for you to think that they've been doing it for a long time. It's the first thing they do when they start in an industry. And you're going to kind of break that because you're going to be able to tell when they got their license and their insurance and all of that stuff. So there's so much protection that you're going to foresee that the homeowner wouldn't.
Yeah. And also with the people I've talked to that just started and everything like that, like, and if they're honest about it, if they tell me they just started, we still have a great conversation. I don't just hang up the phone after that. I say, once you get established, you have my personal number, because that's what I call you off of. You have my email. Call me back. If I can help you in any way, I will, because that's why I'm here. I'm here to help people, whether it's the homeowner, whether it's the contractor. Like, I care about people, and that's why I've aligned myself with a company who cares about people.
So what are some tips for a homeowner that may not have somebody from roofing.com that's in their area, or maybe they're vetting several different roofers, that you would say they should be asking if they are trying to find a roofer?
Good question. I like that question. With me being in the roofing industry and certain things I know and talking to homeowners, I think warranty is a huge issue. Everyone will say, oh, like, you have the same, like, I'm a huge GAF person. I don't know about anyone else. And I know what Master Elite can offer and stuff like that. So I think definitely talking about the warranties. I think the questions we ask roofers, are you licensed? Are you insured? And I think a lot of people are opening their eyes to that. If you look at every Facebook group of somebody who's looking for a roofer, the comments are, make sure they're licensed and insured and all this stuff. I think, going to their website is huge. I think website is huge because marketing has become so big in this industry. So, your website, if it's really kind of big and bold, you kind of got to take that into account and see how much effort they put into that. I mean, that's not necessarily what I would tell them other than the other things, but those are the main things I would say. Look at the warranties, make sure you're getting a warranty that's going to save you. I think Florida, though, has you have to get a roof, right? Within a certain amount of time. Is it 15 years?
Yeah, so in Florida, you got to replace the roof every 15 years, or you can use one of our partners, which is Ugly Roof, and you can get another potentially 15 years. You can spray it every 5 years and get more time out of it, and insurance will accept that.
So
But
warranty kind of is
no, I think
since
the
you have to
warranty
get it
really
done.
does matter. And I'll tell
Okay.
you why the warranty matters, because we actually see manufacturers aren't always making the same quality product that they used to. They're trying to find a cheaper way to make the product. And in Florida, with that intense heat and the rains and the winds, their products can fail. They can malfunction. There's all kinds of issues that we've seen with multiple manufacturers where they have problems with the shingles. So I do think the warranty really matters, even though you got to replace the roof every 15 years. And here's why it matters, because some homeowners say the roof goes bad in the first 5 years. What they don't read in the warranty is that it only covers the product. Right. So it's like, all right, I paid for a $30,000 roof. It failed. There's a manufacturer defect. They're going to give me $6,000. That ain't fair. And so the warranty does matter. And the coolest thing about it is, if you're a homeowner or even if you're a roofer and you're joinroofing.com, I think if you have multiple claims with a manufacturer and they're not solving those things, I think having a name like roofing.com and standing behind it, we're going to be able to hold the manufacturer accountable for you, the homeowner, and for you, the roofer. So I think it's a really, really good thing to have in this industry, a site for homeowners to find a roofer, a site for roofers to find a homeowner. But also, if there's a manufacturer that just ain't cutting it, you're probably not going to recommend that manufacturer after a while, or you're going to be able to call that manufacturer and say, hey, we have 50,000 roofers here and we got a problem with your product. What are you going to do about it? We got all these clients that have issues. So I think it's a really good multiple, like maybe another warranty behind the scenes that it's going to protect the homeowner and the roofer, because as a whole, we can say, hey, this isn't working. I don't think people hold the manufacturers accountable enough. I can tell you in Florida, manufacturer warranties are everything. Like, to me, they're a big deal. One of the things that manufacturers typically do is they try to get out of the warranty. They write the warranties, so they know how to get out of the warranties. And some of those issues can be, they'll say like, oh, well, we found this nail that was off a half inch, so we're going to void the warranty. And it's got holes all in the shingle. Like, it has nothing to do with the nails at. So when you're a homeowner and you're buying from a manufacturer or a company, you want the warranty. The warranties really matter. When I go to Lowe's and buy a washing machine, I'm getting the extended warranty, and I replace that thing like 5 times. You know what I mean? Like, this is a different world that we live in, but we also don't want to create a way for the manufacturer to get out of the warranty. So for me, my number one product is CertainTeed, and they have a 5-star warranty, which actually covers installation. So say the roofer did something wrong, they're still going to stand behind their product through warranty. Say the roofer goes out of business, they're still going to stand behind the product. And that warranty on a typical roof could be $500 extra. Well worth the money. And I think you guys are, in the roofing industry, so you understand warranties. And that's probably going to be one of your number one questions from customers, is how the warranty works. And you're going to have a better understanding of it.
And I think that says a lot about the business. So like with GAF, right? You have Master Elite. And that's, besides like President's Club, Master Elite is the best of the best. You can do the gold warranty, which is installation, everything. Like, and you're for 15 years. Like, it's pretty big. And I think that says a lot about, this is why they post, GAF Master Elite certified. I think it says a lot about your company that you went through the steps, whether it's Owens Corning, CertainTeed, whatever you're using, you went through the steps to be able to offer that great warranty. Because you don't just get it as soon as you decide to sell a bundle of shingles of CertainTeed or a bundle of shingles of GA. It takes years and stuff. So I think that says a lot about the company as well. Like, we've taken the steps to be able to offer you this warranty.
So one thing on warranties real quick I want to add, because I see homeowners do this every now and then. For me, like I said, I'm a CertainTeed guy. And here's what I know. If I go to you to sell you a roof and you say, hey, I want a certain brand of shingles, I don't recommend that. I recommend you find the roofer that you trust, and maybe you find that through roofing.com. You find that person first, and then you go with the brand that they're selling. And here's why I'm going to tell you that. Those roofers are probably buying more of that brand. They hold a volume. They're buying in volume. That manufacturer is definitely going to support the guy that's buying in volume. So if he has an issue with his roof, they're going to cover it, right? But if he just one-off uses a different brand, they're not going to cover it. That guy's not buying that brand. So my first thing is always find the roofer that you trust first. And then the product that he offers the most, that's the one I'm going to go with. He probably knows the warranty the best for that product also, and he's going to recommend the best warranty for it. But for me, if I'm installing CertainTeed every day, CertainTeed's not going to take the risk of not satisfying my customer. They will satisfy my customer because I demand them to satisfy my customer. And if there's something wrong, they better fix it. And if I know that working with a manufacturer like CertainTeed, they come through for me every time. So I think it's really important to pick your roofer.
But I think it goes really important to pick your roofer because you have to actually submit that for the homeowner, right? Like they don't just get it because they got their roof put on.
So that's a really interesting thing too, Brittany brings up. So everybody can be selling a warranty, but are they actually filing that warranty once the job's done? We have a whole team at Eustace Roofing, since we do so many roofs, that actually makes sure a process that files a warranty, that follows up on the warranty to make sure that the homeowner gets it. There's so many homeowners that I can tell you in our industry that I see that actually bought a warranty, but it never got filed, so it doesn't exist.
Yep. I've had to do it going from silver to gold for Master Elite or for GAF. I had to do it by hand. You at first, like the first, like I think 3 months, I did all my warranties by hand and put them in an envelope, brought it to the homeowner.
We have a award from CertainTeed because we had so many warranties that were filled out. Is that a way that a homeowner can find out if they go to that brand?
Yeah, so you can find that information out from that brand. For us, we were the #1 registered warranties in the state of Florida. I think we were #3 in the whole country. And so that shows you, that's a great way to look and see, all right, first of all, are they registering their warranties? Second of all, do they know their warranties? Because you can see they filed a bunch. And third of all, are they a great partner with that manufacturer? Like for me, if I'm the #1 selling CertainTeed registered warranties in the state, then obviously, you know, if you have a problem with my CertainTeed roof, they're going to cover it.
I think that's awesome, and it would be a great way to vet as a homeowner. They say they've put up 1,000 roofs. Well, how many warranties did you submit? Can you show me that?
Yeah. And technically the manufacturers with a click of a button can produce that for you. So that is a great thing to ask for. I want to see how many registered warranties you have and for my protection as a homeowner. And I think roofing.com, like that's stuff that they're staying on top of. Like for instance, like they're vetting homeowners now, and I'm sure that that list is going to increase and increase and increase to protect the homeowner and protect the roofer.
What can a homeowner do if they don't think their roof was warranted with their contractor?
So they can actually call the manufacturer and look that up, because part of registering a warranty, as you know, you're going to list the homeowner's name, the property address. There's a lot of, to me, it can be a lot of paperwork sometimes. And so the homeowner should actually verify that, because I've seen it so many times where they didn't get a warranty. They paid for it, but they didn't get it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
and
scary.
you can go to you can call the manufacturer, but at most times if there's nothing there, you're SOL, you know. So and that sucks, and I hate hearing it, but I've heard stories like that too. That's why I make sure that's getting put in your hand. I'll email it to you as well, but I'm making sure that you get that warranty and put it somewhere safe.
Wow. Well, a lot of protection for the homeowner. I mean, I think you made a good point, and you made a good point also. I think this is really good for the homeowner, and I think that's what makes roofing.com so spectacular for the homeowner, for the roofer. And obviously with you guys as a partner, you can't win, or you can't lose. That's what I would say.
You're empowering homeowners for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. And that's what we want. I mean, they're the ones that typically are the ones getting screwed over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we can prevent that, like you always want to do, is you want to, impact the community by giving them a great roofer. So I think doing things like this is just going to ensure that down the road.